All right, so Drew Eldon on MTGO posted a couple challenge top 8s with this list, and it was unique enough that I wanted to give it a shot. So it's kind of got some similarities to the Dimir Flash deck that's been running around with Wan Shi Tong, Orcish Bowmasters, Kaito. But then it's got some nods to the older Dimir list with Psychic Frog, with Quantum Riddler. It's got the Quantum Riddler consigned to memory combo to be able to consign your Warp Trigger, keep your Quantum Riddler around. We've got our 4 counterspell. We have Force Negation over cards like Logic Knot or Spell Pierce. So a little bit better of a top end counterspell. Got a Graveyard Trespasser in the main. Really good into Boros energy. So you can really see how this list is kind of catered to the current modern metagame. So 4 consigned memory in the main, along with the Quantum Riddler. Not only is a good aggressive clock, but really good into all of the Eldrazi and Tron variants running around. We've got Graveyard Trespasser, Bitter Triumph, Strategic Betrayal to help out with opposing Quantum Riddlers, Solitude decks, Flage decks, stuff like that. 2 Cling to Dust in the main. In the sideboard, we've got 3 Mystical Dispute, 2 Stern Scolding, 2 Toxic Deluge, another Graveyard Trespasser, 2 Break the Ice, 2 Engineered Explosives, 2 Damping Spheres, and a Nihil Spellbomb. So putting those consigned memories in the main frees up a lot of sideboard spots for extra wrath effects, for extra hate into like Eldrazi. We are trying Break the Ice again. I didn't like it in the Dimir Flash deck, but that was also a 4 Field of Ruin deck. This is not. This is a 0 Field of Ruin, instead running Gloomlake Verge. So a little bit better ability to get double black on turn 2. We'll see if that ends up showing itself at any point during the league. But interested to see what this deck has to offer. So let's go ahead and jump into our league. Get the ball rolling. Obviously, we can sit here and talk about how the deck looks all day, but until we actually play it, don't really have much to go off of. Like I said, they've had multiple challenge top 8s, I believe, in the last week with the deck. So, showing a good level of consistency. There's been a lot of Dimir Flash running around in the leagues recently, so this list could give the ability to just go over the top of that, because Quantum Riddler is a card that Dimir Flash has a difficult time dealing with or interacting with. But we'll see. Chair's up too high. Oh well. Sir Toma. Opening hand. We're not going to keep a 1-lander. We'll keep a 2-lander. Obviously, we need to find an island or a swamp for these Gloomlake Verges to tap for black mana. But we do just have Counterspell on 2, couple draws to hit a land. Perfect. So Flooded Strand on opponent's side. Just Jeskai Blink, probably. Nope. Could still be Jeskai Blink. Not Jeskai Blink. Thundering Falls Temple Garden. Definitely interested in counterspelling this. It's just like a 4-color Omnath pile. See what's up. They have like a Teferi here. That would kind of suck. Perhaps just don't have a way to answer the frog. Passing back. Not passing back. Leyline Binding. Well, we are definitely going to try to keep our frog around. Good draw. What do you got next? So it's got to just be like a 4-color Omnath deck, right? Shardless Agent. So this is going for a birthing ritual, I assume. I could consign to memory the Cascade trigger, which doesn't sound too bad. Easy consign. Well, it just kind of depends on if I want to keep the consign for maybe something else. Like, I'm probably consigning. I think it's like 90% too. I just want to think if there's a reason I might want to hold it in case I just have like double Solitude in hand or something. They have missed land drop. Sink into stupor. Let's get our frog airborne. And another land is great. Now I can Bowmaster, ping the Shardless Agent, trade off with it, or just fetch Fatal Push. Do this while still having Counterspell up. And I'm not going to fetch here. I think that the way I lose this game from this point is like tapping myself off of Counterspell unnecessarily. There is the Solitude. Solitude off of an Omnath. So do I want to just counterspell this? I could just let it go because I've got the backup frog. And if they're playing next turn, yeah, I think I'm actually just going to let this go. Play the backup frog, save the counterspell. If I had like invested mana into this or invested cards into that first frog, I'd be a lot more about protecting it. But because I don't have anything invested into it, I don't care about it that much. This feels like it's just another Solitude. Couldn't we just sink it? Well, my whole point on that last turn cycle was I don't want to tap off of Counterspell. Like, tapping off of Counterspell is, I think, how something gets through that I lose to. So if I can just afford to never tap off of it, I'd rather take that line and kind of be able to cover the unknown. And like if their last card's another white card and I sink back the Solitude and they evoke it again and then they have untap land, 5th land, hardcast Quantum Riddler from exile, I don't have counterspell up. That's the kind of line that leads to me losing unnecessarily. That's kind of the spot I don't want to be in. All right. Like, I just don't want to be overzealous on like firing off my counter spell or firing off any of my spells if they're not really like changing anything or they're not highly impactful. Does that make any sense? I don't want to cast something just for the sake of casting something, I guess is the best way of putting it. All right. So all stuff I could potentially bring in. I don't think I want engineered explosives. I know it hits Birthing Ritual, but that's the only 2-drop in their deck, and I can never hit a 3. Kind of the same reason I'm questionable on Spell Snare. Obviously, Birthing Ritual is very good. Well, it's like Force of Negation or Spell Snare. Like, I'm probably going to cut one of these two. Force of Negation, I think, is a little more universal. It can hit things like Teferi, Prismatic. No, they wouldn't have Prismatic ending. Leyline Binding, Teferi, but also hits Birthing Ritual, where Spell Snare only hits Birthing Ritual. Yeah, I don't hate trimming some consigns. Like, I'm not aggressively going for a Quantum Riddler consign line. If if I'm bringing in Stern Scoldings that kind of fight over Solitude and do the same job. Not the most interesting 7-card hand in the world. Don't love it, but we have a couple draws and a Surveil, plus Force Negation on the draw for a Ritual Quantum Riddler to potentially refill. Try to high roll here, hit the land. I could have ditched my Quantum Riddler or the counter spell, kept the Force Negation, but I don't think 2-for-1ing myself twice on mulligans is going to get me out of this. All right. So we're going to let the Birthing Ritual go. And I'm going to choose to Mystical Dispute the Shardless Agent and Fatal Push this other agent. Might as well just not take the 2 damage if I'm going to be doing this anyway. Like, I can't stop them from getting a Birthing Ritual if I counter the second one. So fighting over the stuff on board is a little bit more fitting at the moment. Obviously, I need like a lot of help to come back in this spot, but Obsidian Charmal. See if we can surveil land to the top. Well, that could have been good. We'll see what they Birthing Ritual into, but we're kind of at the point where them just going like Charmaw into a Quantum Riddler into something else is like way more than we can overcome. Karmic Guide. Okay. Yuki coming in with the raid. So welcome. Hope you had an awesome stream. How's it going so far? We are in game 3 of match 1 against a 4-color Omnath Birthing Ritual pile. You know, one of those decks you never expect to actually run into until you do. Had a decent one today. Had an all-time new personal best for the game I've been playing recently. Managed to complete a run in just under 40 minutes. Nice. What game was it? There's at least one rogue deck like that every league. Yeah, pretty much. Just one of those like, oh, here's a pile of good stuff value cards that you just can't touch with your specialized interaction. Like, oh, here's your deck full of fatal pushes and force negations and whatnot. Fatal push, force negation, um, spell snare. Here's just a bunch of obsidian charmals and solitudes and quantum riddlers. Like, all right, fair. This opponent is being nice and putting all their birthing rituals on the stack. I mean, we have a chance of just running them out of birthing rituals here, which I would not complain about. Basic premise of the game is you build utterly busted runs. I mean, it's a pretty good basis to a game, if we're being honest. Like, hey, the idea here is just to do the most broken thing possible. All right, so this is 3 birthing rituals gone. Out of the deck. Don't have to deal with anymore. Let's just go ahead and put that 4th one on the stack. Do I want frog here? I don't think I do. I think I can do better. Like, I'm probably not untapping and windmill slamming frog next turn, because I run the risk of just like land solitude or something going unanswered, and I just kind of waste a draw step. Whereas Cling to Dust here, since I found the 5th land, can just be draw 2. Choose not to attack. Go ahead and escape the Cling to Dust. Okay. That's a card that does something. Okay. Let's get this 4th birthing ritual out of the deck. Oh, they failed to find? Or... yeah. So they don't have a 4th one, or the 4th one's in hand. We do get to see their entire deck, though. They have Bloodbraid Elf. Oh, man. They're on some shenaniganry. Let's go ahead and get this first Shardless Agent off the board. Bloodbraid Elf, Omnath, Solitude, Charmaw. What do we got here? Leyline Binding. I'm just letting this go. Do I care about the Bloodbraid or about the Orcish Bowmaster? So if I go to counter this to keep my Bowmaster around, I kind of lose on the spot if their last card is the 4th copy of Birthing Ritual. But if their last card was the 4th copy of Birthing Ritual, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to cast the Shardless Agent and show me that they have no more in the deck. But it could be a Quantum Riddler that I would like to interact with. 1, 2, nope, all the Quantum Riddlers are accounted for. Never mind, I'm an idiot. All of my Quantum Riddlers are not accounted for. Kind of like just warping this. Give me the extra card. Extra card, extra mana. Land attack with Shardless. Sure. Picking up a land there is actually really nice because I can hard cast this Quantum Riddler, and if their last card is a Solitude and they hard cast it, I can Mystical Dispute. All right, Quantum Riddler. I need you. That's a banger top deck. It's a Wanshi for 6. So that is just lethal in the air next turn. Unless they have a Solitude. Now I get to untap with Counterspell. Nice. Quantum Riddler looking like a champ there. One of the benefits of the Bitter Triumphs is getting down on cards in hand for the Riddler too. Not needed here, but nice when it applies. Yeah, that is a fair point. I saw your post in the Discord about like really valuing the targeted removal, especially when it doesn't miss like Ragavan and Construct tokens, plus being instant speed. Like, I've been playing a lot of Shieldred's Edict recently, and kind of the only time you ever want it is against exactly Kappa Cannoneer. Every other instance, it kind of sucks. Or Domain Scion. Good call. Which actually came up in my weekly Modern on Saturday night. So I don't know if I'm going to play it today or if I'm going to play it Thursday. But I played Esper Lutri at my weekly Modern and went undefeated. And it was sick. And actually included a win over Zoo in one of the rounds where I hit my one of Children's Edict into Leyline Scion. And it was hot. I found Affinity normally has other creatures like Memnite they'd rather sack too. Yeah, if they've got Memnite, it's unfortunate. I feel like I don't see Memnite that often, or Ornithopter, but I will have games against them where they just like warp a Pinnacle Emissary on one, make a bunch of mana, have a Mox Opal, and then just like hard cast Pinnacle Emissary on two. And those kind of hands can be very annoying to play against. Take a land. But like that Modern with Esper Lutri was probably the most fun Modern, just like weekly Modern event that I have run in a hot minute. And yeah. All right, so opponent is representing Spell Snare, Spell Pierce, something of the sorts. We're just not going to play out this frog right here. I don't hate just warping Riddler here. I highly doubt they have anything to interact with a warped Riddler. Yeah, they're just going to spend their turn not doing anything relevant. Just pass back. So this is just Dimir Flash. They played a tap land on turn 2. Do I think there's a chance that they don't have a counter spell? Looks more like Mill. I don't think Mill plays Spell Pierce. They could, but a Mill hand of like no crab, no meaningful interaction. Kind of want to just start jamming Kaitos. They have the counter spell. Sure. I'm feeling less and less like it's Mill. That's a good draw. Can use that to set up our Kaito next turn. Definitely not Mill. Cling to Dust. Am I interested in Bowmaster Counterspell here? That's probably fine. Start making them use up some of these spells. Because I think they have either a push or a spell snare. And if it's a push, I don't feel so bad. Spell snare, I'm still pretty okay with making this exchange. Subtlety. Do I want Bowmaster on the top or bottom? Just put it on top. If they want a Field of Ruin and shuffle it away, that's fine. Frogtide. It's the Dimir flash deck. It's like Wan Shi Tong, Subtlety, Bowmasters, that sort of stuff. Give another spell snare. Push. Okay. So that's a Shieldred's Edict out of the way. Here is a Kaito. Another Shieldred's Edict. That's a dangerous one. Kaito is a creature on my turn, so Shieldred's Edict naming Planeswalker does not make it sacrifice itself on my turn. It's just a creature with the Planeswalker abilities, but it is not a Planeswalker. It's an interaction that I have made the same mistake. I've 100% made the exact same play. And it only takes once for it to happen before you realize that's something to remember. Some lessons you have to learn the hard way, indeed. Like I said, I have been on that side of the fence. That interaction sucks. I know. Once it happens once, it probably won't happen again. The only other thing I might want to consider cutting is Force a Negation, but there's not really anything I want to bring in. Maybe I could keep a Consign in, hit a Wan Shi Tong trigger, but that doesn't seem great. Just roll with it. Glad to see Frog back in some Dimir lists. Yeah, like all the flash decks or the flash lists have been completely off Frog, but when I saw Drew's list here with the Frogs back in and the Quantum Riddlers, I definitely wanted to give it a try. I also found it really funny because I was going through Discord messages last night and I saw ZKG's message about having a difficult time into Eldrazi with the Flash deck. And all I could think was like, yeah, you cut Psychic Frog and Thoughtseize out of that list. Like your two best cards in the Eldrazi matchup, you don't have access to anymore. So I'm not exactly shocked that that matchup went a little sideways. City sewers. How great is blue-black reanimator right now in modern? I want to give it a try in paper. Do you mean like Goryo's Vengeance, or do you mean the blue-black? Like there was some straight blue-black reanimate piles running around. With Persist Archon. You mean Persist? They're probably fine. I don't know. I'm definitely a little hesitant to go like all in on grave hate or all in on a graveyard strategy at the moment, just because I think grave hate is very main deckable at the moment. See like Cling to Dust all the time in the main, see Thraben Charms, see stuff like that, and I think it's kind of easy to get blown out. But that's just like my 2 cents more than anything. Go ahead and throw out a Bowmaster. If they subtlety, this is fine. Spell Snare. Do I want to just warp a Quantum Riddler? Do I want to go for jamming a Kaito? Let's warp a Riddler. And if they go for something like Counterspell on this, I'll probably cast a Frog. Opponent is not doing a whole lot. Like, I need to try to put something on the stack. Just start casting something. To take advantage of them being, like, low on mana. Just gonna bottom this Kaito. I got the backup. Yeah, the problem with a lot of cards, Faithless Looting, Otherworldly Gaze, all that sort of stuff, is just the fact that, like, them not doing anything, them not doing anything right away is a significant drawback when everybody else is playing a card that does do something. So, for example, Faithless Looting is extremely efficient at getting cards in the graveyard. No argument there. But when your opponent is just like playing to the battlefield and going card positive at the same time that you're playing Faithless Looting and going card negative to try to set up something else, but they're just like already on the battlefield with more cards, it's a really tough trade-off. Just looking at scenarios like you cast a Tainted Indulgence, for example, and your opponent warps a Quantum Riddler. Like, you're pretty far behind in that exchange. Unless you also have a big payoff to follow it up, which is not always the case. But like, they always have a Quantum Riddler on board and more cards in hand. Kaito resolves. Just start fighting, because if you fight back, that's okay. I'm just getting cards out of my hand for Quantum Riddler. Opponent correctly determines that Kaito is a creature this time. Like a mini Wanshi. Oyster, what are we ugging for? Haven't done anything ugg worthy yet. Bowmaster. Sure. OP resolving charts is just bad news bears. It's not that bad at the moment. I think we're just kind of like semi holding pattern until we start finding more Quantum Riddlers. See if they have another Bowmasters. Like, they're kind of not doing a whole lot. We're kind of not doing a whole lot. Wanshi Tong for 0. So just for Kaito. Gone through 24 cards so far. We've seen one copy of Quantum Riddler. Let's go you. It's not a bad draw. So I think I'm going to go for the upkeep push. I'm going to go for the Field of Ruin. Don't think I want a Bitter Triumph this. I think I still just want to save this Bitter Triumph for a Kaito. They're wanting to fight over this. See if they have another one. Nope. We'll just fire off a Cling to Dust. Sage coming in with the 18-month resub. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the subscribers yet again. Really appreciate the continued support. Per usual, thanks for allowing me to enjoy my favorite Magic content creator. Much love, Mike. Much love as well. All right, so I do want to keep a little bit of an eye on a potential Kaito off of this Orc Army token. So if I get to like 3 life, I want to deal with this Orc Army token before I get that low. Which might mean I just go ahead and go for getting it off the battlefield. Okay. That's a reasonable Magic the Gathering card. Are we picking a fight over this? We are not. So I could Wan Shi for 1. Still have Counterspell and Mystical Dispute up. Wan Shi for 2, but for 1 card. We're going to go for a Counterspell. Back. Try to get some cards out of hand. So I do still have Cling to Dust in the yard, so Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. Yep. All right. Cast a Frog. See where this gets me. Cast a Bitter Triumph. Additional mode. Discard a card. Counter spell. Let's go for Mystical Dispute here and go ahead and get this cashed in while we can. There's no guarantee that that dispute's going to be live going forward. I think I should just go ahead and main phase this this Cling to Dust so that I have the chance to draw into a Quantum Riddler right here. Not draw into a Quantum Riddler. It's a pretty good one though. Quantum Riddler. No. Quantum Riddler. No. Not bad. Not bad, but not Quantum Riddler. Do you think I'll just go ahead and fire this off though? Yep. Glad to have them burn that on a Bowmaster. So I do still have another copy of Kaito in the deck. Are they out of Shieldred's Edicts? It's 1, 2. So no, they still have another copy. Ooh, piece of candy. You might be asking yourself, why am I tapping my non-basic lands for this graveyard trespasser? It's because I know that they have this Field of Ruin, and I don't want them to be able to like find another Field of Ruin or something and potentially strip mine me off of double blue. I'm gonna try to fight over this edict. I think this graveyard trespasser can win the game if it sticks around. Force of negation. Sink into stupor does nothing for me here. Yep. I think all sink into stupor does is kind of help me against EOT Wan Shi Tong. I am surprised that they're going for Field of Ruin here. First off, I don't know why they're Field of Ruining a tapped Undercity Sewers instead of an untapped land. But when I have Cling to Dust in my graveyard and I'm just like one card off of escaping it with my fetch land, it seems like a bit of an awkward choice here to go for. Consult the star chart. Sure. Is there another sewers? No, the other one was already knocked out. There's no Undercity left. We'll see if you got 2 copies of Orcish Bowmaster off of that. All right. Man, somewhere, somehow, there is a Quantum Riddler. 3 of them are in the top or the bottom 17 cards. All right, so our bottom 17 is 3 Quantum Riddlers, a Bowmasters, a Kaito, 2 Psychic Frogs, a Graveyard Trespasser. That's some good stuff in the bottom. More than half your threat density is in the bottom 20% of your deck. Yep. Now Wan Chi Tong's a bad top deck because I just died to this Bowmasters. Yeah. Play out the land here because that's another potential cling to dust. The Wan Chi works too. Yeah, a lot of cling to dust, but just not us being able to find our threats. Not going to feel too bad about that. I think anywhere during those middle like 10 turns, if we find another Quantum Riddler, we just like run away with the game. Doesn't matter, but why not keep the land in case of a top deck frog? You could. I don't really care about discarding the frog in these matches because all of the removal spell just like kills frog regardless of how big it is. So I only care about frog hitting and drawing a card, not so much like speeding up the clock, throwing cards into the frog. And if I hold on to too much stuff, then I'm just making Quantum Riddler worse. So it's a trade-off of which thing you would rather hit. And it's also very much going to come down to our ability to close out this game before we run out of time. See if they want to Bowmaster me back. That's fine. I like casting Bowmaster there on my own main phase because if they have a Bowmaster, this is like best value spot for them casting their Bowmaster, which means one Bowmaster left or less in the deck in case I start finding Quantum Riddlers, which may happen. Who knows? Corden Tex, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome back to the subscribers. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Does force them to play at sorcery speed. You are correct there. Upkeep Wan Chi Tong. Let's Surveil, try to filter this draw a little bit. I don't really want either of these. I really just want to find Quantum Riddlers. Like, I'm on a clock right now. By literal clocking. So I kind of need to find ways to get the game over with more than I need to find ways to stay alive. Opponent finds a Bowmaster. All right. What's my plan here? I could Bitter Triumph, kill their Bowmaster. I think I like that. I think I like Bitter Triumph, kill their Bowmaster, draw off of my Kaito. No. Emblem off of my Kaito. Sink into Stupor, bounce their army token. This way, if they play their own Kaito on their turn, I can threaten Kaito, make another emblem, attack, and kill their Kaito. So I should have emblemed first, but at the time I was thinking there was still a chance. All right, well, if they just chain together star charts and find a Shieldred's Edict, that's kind of game. Mello, what's up? They did not find a start, or did not find a Shieldred's Edict, which is obviously interesting. Just attack. Plan to zero the Kaito. 2-1-2. No. That's not bad. I'm definitely gonna jump the frog and threaten to block. Like, no reason not to. I don't have a cling to dust in the yard. Sure. They're going to ninjutsu a Kaito. It's not enough to kill my Kaito. They have a follow-up Bowmaster. They could just replay the Wan Shi Tong. pass back. Kaito does not get to draw for hitting planeswalkers. So we're just going to get Kaito out of Bowmaster range, kill off their Kaito. Eventually. I would love to just ignore their Kaito and attack at them if I had like a Bowmasters in hand, but because I don't, I kind of have to respect their Kaito. So found a Shieldred's Edict. Definitely worst case scenario there. Kaito's gone. Hoping maybe they would respond to the fetch with Wan Chi Tong, and I could just hard cast the dispute on the Shieldred's Edict. Fortunately, they did not. Subtlety. That's an interesting one. Don't think there's any reason not to just cast it right now. Mm. Don't think I have anything that's gonna get me back into this in 50 seconds, unfortunately. Do like a reasonable job of staying alive if I want, but staying alive and winning the game are two very different things. Cling to dust my cling, sure. got Riddlers. I've got 4 Riddlers in the deck and am not seeing them. This is like the best matchup for them and just not seeing them. All right. Like we were joking about game 2 there, we got down to like 14, 15 cards. And there were still 3 Riddlers left in the deck. We saw 1. That game 2 there, we saw over half of our deck and didn't see any Riddlers. What's the best, cheapest way to update a 12-month-old blue-black frog Oculus deck to be meta relevant in 2026? Is 12 months ago before Quantum Riddler got printed? So no Riddlers, no Wan Chi Tongs. I can't remember what was relevant or what was legal 12 months ago. If one dies in response to its ETB trigger, do you still draw any cards? Yes. Yes, you do. Hey, look, Riddlers. Yeah, I agree with Seti's comment that like Wan Chi Tong's one of the better cards you have access to now, but or Quantum Riddler and Wan Chi Tong, but neither of them are very cheap. I told you the Riddlers were in the deck. You gotta believe me some point. What about pivot to Grixis Reanimator? Archons are cheap. I mean, that's fine. I don't think they're like comparable deck wise. And I don't think Grixis Reanimator is meta relevant. But at the same time, that might be like the distinguishing factor that changes the argument. If you just say, oh, what's the best thing I can do currently with what I have and not care about the meta relevant part, then I've been really enjoying just various forms of like Dimir Kaito shells. But I'm not going to say that they're meta relevant. But as soon as you add that argument in there, then the cards you want are a bit different. It's like I think the Dimir Flash deck is the most meta relevant Dimir shell at the moment. But that shell is $200 for a playset of Wan Chi Tongs, which is certainly not free. Funeral Charm. It's just 8-rack. We're playing against actual, factual 8-rack. Sorry, it's too bright. It's blinding me. That is an actual Liliana of the Veil. Ooh. Be still, my beating heart. Rooting for opponent. Same. Also rooting for opponent. All right, so let's go Warp Quantum Riddler. Trigger on the stack. We will Cling to Dust something to draw 2 cards. Quantum Riddler draws a card. Unfortunately, we draw all of our consigns after our Quantum Riddler goes away. Perhaps we get to consign an Urza's Saga trigger. The rack. This rack is on fire. This rack is on fire. I'd like for both of these to attack Liliana of the Veil. So opponent's down to 0 cards in hand. So we let the Bowmaster resolve. We consign to memory the Bowmaster trigger. We fatal push the Bowmaster. We kill the Liliana of the Veil. We have to play a land, so if they get another copy of the rack, we're going to be taking some damage. But hopefully next turn we can just hard cast Quantum Riddler. Feel the same whenever I match against Jund players, like, you still got it, old man. It's so depressing, but true. Come on, just make a construct. Yes. Yes, queen. Yes. They're going to get, like, Mox Opal and Raven's Crime me. It's going to be so depressing. Like, Mox Opal blackmail. Nihil Spellbomb. Alright, so I do take some damage off this rack. Don't think this matters. Oh wait, I don't even have to sacrifice this. Urborg, too good. Who would win? A deck built around discarding out your opponent or one Ridley boy? You got it. No response. This is where you just hit them with, like, the opponent. Was it as fun for you as it was for me? No. Unfortunate. I would like to draw yes cards. Rip. No, that's Nihil Spellbomb. That's not Rest in Peace. Got him. See, Rest in Peace is a 2-mana white enchantment. This is a 1-mana colorless artifact. Mike, blink twice if you're safe. Clearly in danger. So I want Engineered Explosives. I want Graveyard Trespasser. Do I want Break the Ice? It's Urza's Saga, but only Urza's Saga is probably not. Consigned to Memory looks pretty good. Like being able to just say, here's a Quantum Riddler. It's on the battlefield. Can you deal with it? I don't really want Strategic Betrayal. There's not really anything I want more. I guess I'll take a Break the Ice over a Strategic Betrayal. 1 Break the Ice for their assuming 4 Urza Sagas. Oh no. Mulliganing our only real enemy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Ah. It's Lightning Helix. Yep. Should take the Bitter Triumph. You don't want me to kill your Liliana of the Veil. Dang it. Please don't Funeral Charm me. Gloom Lake. You know what? I'm actually gonna take that. Go ahead and cast the Riddler just to protect it from Thoughtseize. I don't mind hitting more lands here because I just want to get to hard casting Quantum Riddler. Raven's Crime. I don't even think I'm going to play out the Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog's not doing anything. Psychic Frog looking a little bit better, not going to lie. Sure. They have 2 cards in hand. Might be able to just play out a frog and protect it for a turn, get some more draws in. Maybe frog is not long for this world. Scratch that. So land, cast Quantum Riddler, draw 2. Discard the frog, jump frog, attack, draw 2. Nice. Activating Castle Lochthwain. Choosing not to cast their Raven's Crime. So we'll just put some counters on our Psychic Frog. Let this Inquisition go. So now our Quantum Riddler's drawing 2. Snaring Bridge, you say? Okay. I do have a couple copies of Sink into Stupor still. Let's play Frog. Go for Cling to Dust on their Raven's Crime. Speak of the Devil. And I'm just going to pass the turn back here. No. Mississippi Internet. Is it cutting out? It's been doing this several times in recent streams, and it doesn't give me a notification that it's cut out or anything. It's just I'll look up and the total number in chat is like halved. And I'm just like, well, unfortunate. But it very well could be the internet. It could also be the dual casting, like streaming to Twitch and to YouTube. You leave Bantu's Last Reckoning. I'm first off really surprised that Bantu's Last Reckoning is a card that I would run into in 2026. Also really surprised that they would leave the Sink into Stupor in hand. We don't take anything off of this this rack. pass back. I don't think there's too much of a reason to make a move yet. Liliana's fine. I'll sacrifice this graveyard trespasser. All right, so Liliana's going to tick up. Get the Watery Grave out of hand. I'll Wan Shi Tong for all of my available mana. Not quite as good of a plan when they top deck the Thoughtseize, but we'll see what happens. Do choose to take the Sink into Stupor. On our upkeep, we'll escape Cling to Dust again, get us above rack range. All right. Pass back. I'm not going to fire off the Bitter Triumph. Now I will fire off the Bowmaster. I get to ping the Liliana, and then the draw off the Lockthwain lets me kill off the Liliana. So again, glad I did not fire off the Bitter Triumph there. Shrieking Affliction is fine. Another Liliana is fine. All right, so upkeep. Just go ahead and get some of these fetches out of the way. Really do not care about the Liliana. I just want to find another Cling or another Sink into Stupor. So let's get rid of Counterspell, Orc Token. land that doesn't matter. Fatal push because you're not attacking anyway. Take one off the rack here. Psychic Frog. All right, so play Frog. Riddler. Show me sink into stupor. Not sink into stupor, but I do think I'm going to consign this Riddler trigger because they will be able to get me down to the rack plus Shrieking Affliction on their turn. But I can upkeep Cling to Dust to draw 2 to get out of Shrieking Affliction range. It'll push my Bowmaster, sure. Trespasser can go. Draw 2 off of our Quantum Riddler. So I will let this resolve. Let this resolve. Discard 2 to the Frog. I'm going to draw 2 more. Pass back. See what opponent wants to do with this Liliana. Looks like they're just going to tick up again. They're not. Okay. I don't think I've gotten Liliana ultimated since like, geez, I don't know when. All right, so choose a pile to sacrifice. We're going to sacrifice the pile with all of the creatures. Keep keep our lands. Opponent's considering counterspelling my Quantum Riddler. Do I want to... If I hit a land, do I want to consign this Quantum Riddler? Well, not if it's that land. Draw a card off Lochthwain. Which is fine with me, because it's putting them into potential one-shot Quantum Riddler territory. So I've got Cling to Dust up. I've got double Counterspell up. Yep, this is fine. Chooses to get a Nihil Spellbomb. Let's just go ahead and go for Cling to Dust. If they want to respond, that is completely fine. Choose not to. They're drawing off of their Nihil Spellbomb. Now, this is dangerous territory because if they whiffed, if they didn't draw like double Fatal Push, I have the chance to just kill them with Frog here. And we are definitely going for it. Because I get to make this attack with double Counterspell up if I want it. Still present lethal. So declare Frog as an attacker. We are going to discard Spell Snare. Discard Consign to Memory. Discard Fatal Push. Exile 3 to fly the Frog. Nice. Good old 8-rack. In the year of our Lord 2026. So it definitely looks like The Twitch feed is cutting in and out. I don't really have any way to fix that. So I'm going to keep playing the league and end up putting this up on YouTube because the Twitch stream cutting in and out should not cut the recording. So worst case scenario, we will have the recording live. Is there any way to stop the multi-stream midstream? I know everybody watching on YouTube will be sad if we have to cut, but if it keeps cutting out anyway, might have to do some troubleshooting. This is fine on the play. Elegant Parlor. Valakut Awakenings. Storm. Hand is not fantastic into Storm. Like, we do get to go Wan Shi into Trespasser. Or we could go Wan Shi into Kaito. Probably Trespasser. Yeah. I do think I want a Wan Chi for 0 here. Just get it on the board in case they have like a fetch land on turn 3. Maybe it draws me into a force negation and I can fight over a ruby. A little bit disappointed that somebody with the moto name Merfolk God would be playing red white, or yeah, red white Storm. Like, if there's no hope for Merfolk God, what hope is there for the rest of us? All right. So there's 3 options on the table. Option number 1 is Graveyard Trespasser to go ahead and exile the Valakut Awakening and try to get a clock going and hope that Wan Shi Tong can find us like a force negation off of a fetch on their turn. Option number 2 is Kaito off the Wan Shi Tong to be able to surveil 2, draw a card, try to again find a force negation. Option number 3 is pass with Sink into Stupor up to try to hit a reducer that way. Like if they go 3rd land, cast Ruby, and we Sink into Stupor that, it kind of shuts off their turn. I think I'm going to go with Kaito. I thought about Graveyard Trespasser, but I kind of just don't think that Valakut Awakening is important enough to care about exiling that. So Kaito giving me the most looks at finding a force of negation is kind of the deciding factor here. Care about either of those. Psychic Frog would be good if I'm not dead here. And go crazy. If I'm dead, I'm dead. Yeah. Opponent starting off with discarding Wish is like the international sign for you're super dead. Like, I've got the mana, I've got the Past in Flames in hand already, or another Wish. It's kind of funny with Storm now. So I used to really like Storm as a deck in Modern. Um because the old like gift storms builds really felt like there was back and forth. If you fought over mana reducers, they still had the ability to like go off without a mana reducer. um the new storm builds kind of feel like it's so easy for them to go off with a mana reducer and like impossible to go off if they don't have one. I know that's not actually the case, but it really feels like they just have no ability to um no ability to absolutely pop off if they don't have a mana reducer. And I think that just makes it like less exciting. All right. Unfortunately, I cannot Wan Chi Tong in response to this fetch land because I can't tap off of having a counter up for Ruby Medallion. Hexing Squelcher. Can't be countered. Ward pay 2 life. Spells you control can't be countered. Seems pretty good here, if I do say so myself. See how they choose to do this. If they just go Pyretic Ritual first, then we sink into Stupor the Pyretic Ritual. And they shouldn't be able to cast anything after this, which means the Squelcher is just left in exile. Oh, they don't even have the land to follow it up. All right. This probably means I need to go for Quantum Riddler. Hopefully draw a land so I can consign the Quantum Riddler and have consign up on their turn. Rough. Rough, rough, rough. They hit a Ral. Okay. We're 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 trying. You got a Ral. So it's gonna come down to whether or not they have got like a prismatic ending, possibly. Are they gonna go to kill the Wan Shi Tong? They are. So we get to replace our Wan Shi Tong. Keep the new one. Untap and take out this Ral, which is obviously very nice for us. And am I playing Quantum Riddler? I think that I am. I think having the Damping Sphere out is enough insurance. Damping Sphere plus Force of Negation in hand, I think is enough insurance to feel comfortable getting this Quantum Riddler down. Trying to make this a 2-turn clock. Kaito, obviously, good card. Doesn't really matter a lot right here. All right. That's pretty good. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and force a negation this Ruby Medallion because they're probably not beating the Damping Sphere anyway, but without a mana reducer, they're like definitely not beating the Damping Sphere. Because of spots like this where they probably can't even cast another spell because of the Damping Sphere restriction. Squelcher is a 2/2. Could Kaito in off the Wan Shi Tong, just try to draw some more cards. I don't think there's really much I can find that makes this any better. Ral Monsoon Mage, sure. So now you get one spell with this Ral. They cast a Pyretic Ritual, scoop the game. So going to game 3. We saw that all those consigned to memories were super, super awkward. So I think I'm going to board out 1, maybe 2 for EE. Actually, I'll leave in one of the Bitter Triumphs and bring in 1 EE. So I have a little more interaction for Hexing Squelcher. Pretty good. It's going to completely depend on whether they have a Hexing Squelcher. If they don't, I think this hand is very, very good. If they do, it's a little dicier. Hope they go for like an artist talent or something. All right, bending a wish probably means they need another land. Yep. So let's just windmill slam frog, try to keep the pressure up. This third land drop means we should be in pretty good shape. Fatal push, even better. Now we can interact with a Squelcher. And I think we'll just ninjutsu off of this Bowmaster token. We already have Force and Negation up, so we're not in a bad spot tapping off here. Could play out the Sink into Stupor first to hold up Fatal Push. It doesn't really matter because if they do go for a Ral, let's go bottom U, top U. If they go for a Ral, we can force a negation the follow-up ritual, which they can't have for 2 mana. If they start off with a ritual, we can just force negation that. If they did have a way to have 3 mana and went for Ral follow-up ritual, we could force negation the follow-up ritual, untap fatal push the Ral, and manage our way from there. So nice win over Storm. See what we got for round number 5. Yep. It's reasonable. Turn 3 Warp Riddler Consign. Boggart Trawler on 1. That could mean Esper Blink. It could mean Necro Dominance. Doesn't really give me a lot to go off of. All right. Swamp means probably Necro Dominance. Very, very good likelihood of like end of turn Bowmasters into untapped Necro. So I'm going to try to. Oh, nope. I was going to say, so I'm going to try to look for an opportunity to spell snare Bowmasters into untap Quantum Riddler plus Consign. Shadow of Doubt. Oh, baby. Oh, man. Shadow of Doubt. Don't think I want another Consign. Believe I'm just going for Warp Riddler, Consign the Warp Trigger. Glad I finally got to do this league and have a turn 3 Riddler hanging out. We had the call on Necro Dominance. Love to see that. I could go for upkeep, double fatal push my Quantum Riddler just to get to draw 2. Probably not worth losing all those cards over. Shieldred the Apocalypse. Definitely needed that to be a fetch land, not a shock land. Well, if they have another Necro, game's over. Am I just going to be dead to this Shieldred? I can't flash in the Wan Shi Tong because I would run the risk of just being dead to the Quantum Riddler triggers if I did draw a fetch land. All right. I think I know I'm going to their upkeep. I guess it doesn't really matter if I let them get a draw step or not. Another Shieldred. Yep. I go down to 1. So I've got nothing I can do there. Ooh. That feels bad, losing to the Shieldred and not the Necro. Don't really have a great plan for Necro. I wonder if Damping Sphere. It's going to be a bit of a strange one to bring up, but I wonder if Damping Sphere has any implications in this matchup for stopping like Necro drawing a bunch of cards into turn and being able to cast them right away. Like that might not be relevant at all, but just thinking of ways cards could potentially interact. Inquisition to take my Spell Snare. I wonder if that means if they have a Shadow of Doubt. Let me just go ahead and fetch now. Dolthy Voidwalker. All right, so we get to Fatal Push Dolthy, untap, play our Graveyard Trespasser. Hold up our Force of Negation. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, we'll just offer the trade. Chooses not to take it. Fine with me. Could consign to memory the attack trigger. Yeah, because we got the first attack in, we get the first attack for 4. We are currently winning the race. We also do a much better job of protecting our Graveyard Trespasser than they do of pressuring it. Shieldred the Apocalypse. Let's go ahead and counterspell that. Man, part of me really wants to consign this trigger. I think I'm going to. I'm going to consign this trigger so that I get to attack. I get out of 3-turn attack territory. Here's another Graveyard Trespasser. Certainly gets awkward if they have another Shieldred. I guess it's not like that awkward into another Shieldred because they play out the 4/5. I attack with both Graveyard Gluttons, and Bowmaster takes down the Shieldred and just trade off all of our boards, but I've got a Bowmaster out. Could be worse. Well, called that. I am very surprised by this attack. This attack does not seem particularly good. Okay. Let's think. The easy line is just Shieldred's Edict, their Bitter Triumph, their Shieldred. Attack with both. If they have a Fatal Push, they have to discard 2 cards to get rid of one of my Graveyard Gluttons. But my Glutton attacks, exiles. My other Glutton attacks, exiles their Shieldred. And potentially the Graveyard Glutton they target. All right, so there's Shadow of Doubting to gain the life, but that doesn't matter because now I've got Bowmaster and Shieldred in the graveyard. Yeah. So I kill them with the attack and the 2 triggers. I really don't want these consigned to memories. I think I'm going to bring in a Mystical Dispute instead of the last consign, just as like a bad mana leak. Able to interact with Shieldred. Can hit a Necro. Take my Psychic Frog. Sure. No way I'm fighting over that. Let's go ahead and Bowman. I think I want a Quantum Riddler Fatal Push and just pay the ward. The reasoning here is I would rather have the Strategic Betrayal for the Shieldred just in case I'm unable to find a fetch land for the Fatal Push. So having like the guaranteed answer to Shieldred still in hand, I think has some benefit. Push plus Necro. Oh, no Necro. Okay. We're fighting. They're all about these Shadow of Doubts. Hitting the land drops pretty nice, so I can warp the Riddler and still have counterspell. Sure. The old Shadow of Doubt, or the old Castle Lochthwain lose 4 there. Is a big commitment. I've got to believe that they have an answer and they just like don't want to use it on the army token. They want to like save it for something better. Yeah. Just like that sort of scenario. Shieldred is down. I'm going to go for strategic betrayal on this Shieldred. Yeah, I take the 2 damage off the draw. That's fine. Save my instant speed interaction because it's a lot better with Quantum Riddler. Dolphy is fine. I think I can wait another turn off of this this counter spell, or off like hard casting Quantum Riddler, because if they're taking 3 here and they don't find like Necro plus something. Just double Necro. Okay. Well. Go to 1. Soul Spike back up. Double Soul Spike. That's gross. That's so rough for me. Do I want a ninjutsu here? I think that I do. I want a ninjutsu just for the extra damage, because that means less draws for their necro here. I don't care about Quantum Riddler. Because they're kind of locked into needing to draw like 5 here. But they've already seen 2 soul spikes. So let's go to combat. put me down to 3. Am I just going for this? Well, I can't bitter triumph. All right, so hit you with a Kaito. Now what? I have 0 and have to hope that they didn't find another Bowmaster. Oh yeah, they didn't take damage. Oh. Got the Shieldred. Oh. Yep. Yep. How does can they just not pay the life? Yeah. I'm stupid there. They just can't pay any life because Shieldred needs you to be at like 5 life, pay 4, go down to 1. Shieldred triggers resolve. You gain 8, go back up to 9, whatever the case may be. So they just didn't have life to pay for the Necro. Just me forgetting how that card works. All right, so Sweet League ended up 4-1. Beat Storm, beat Necro, beat the Omnath pile. I don't even remember what we lost to. Oh, we lost to the Dimir Flash matchup. That's right. What did I think? I thought Quantum Riddler was really, really good. I only got to Quantum Riddler consigned 1 time, which felt a little lackluster, but just Quantum Riddler by itself it's based. The card's really good. Highly advise people to play with it. Graveyard Trespasser was A+. Always a big Graveyard Trespasser fan. The Consigned Memories were okay, just as a stifle. Not great, but not terrible. Damping Sphere was great. Mystical Dispute and Stern Scolding were great. I liked not being Wan Shi Tong flooded. Felt like when I did see the card, I was able to Wan Shi for like 6 or something, a lot more. But I still had the availability of just Wan Shi early to set up Kaito or to try to draw a card off fetch land, whatever the case may be. But I really like Quantum Riddler. I think if I play more Dimir, which obviously we will on the channel, I'm going to be going back to playing some more Quantum Riddler and some less Flash. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think we're calling it there. Hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe. Enjoy some good food and company. I'll catch y'all back live later. Adios for now.